If tomorrow all the things were gone I worked for all my life, I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my God above for living here today. The flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died and gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Hi, I'm Allison Salinas, and welcome to Citizen Watch, where your voice matters. We might be dealing with some echoing. I hope not, but I think we're okay. So tonight we've got one heck of a show, guys. So there's several things going on. We've got an amazing guest on my show tonight. I've met him online and been talking to him ever since. And he's running for governor of Illinois, guys. So I believe this is 6 candidates so far, 6 or 7. I think a couple more jumped on. So we're getting into the heat of things with elections coming up for 2022. We want to turn this state red. And with that, I want to introduce Chase Thrasher. He is running for governor. Hi, Chase. How are you?
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. I'm glad you decided to come on. So we'll get into some topics shortly, but I want you to introduce yourself. I want you to tell the audience who you are, why you're running for governor, and a brief description of your mission.
Well, like you said, my name's Chase. I'm 34 years old. I've lived in Illinois for the last 25 years, and I've worked in corrections for the last 7.5. And it's just, the state has just gone downhill with governor after governor, red or blue, they all just go downhill. I really just want to help people out. I'm not rich, just like many people. I'm not rich, so I want to help out the small guy. I want the little guy to have a voice.
Absolutely. And, you know, we have a lot of the candidates in 2022. I'm running, you're running. So we have a lot of grassroots movements going, and that is becoming more popular each and every day that I'm seeing. These people are tired of career politicians. They're tired of the same old, and they want some new blood in there. They want some real down-home, relatable people. And I think that's where you and I both fall in that category. Yes, absolutely. And willing to stand up and run. You know, we're not keyboard warriors. We're actually standing up and doing something for our communities. Now, briefly, I'm going to just touch base. You have a very important family. You have a very special little guy. And he's the heart and soul of what you do and why you do. And part of the reason I brought that up is because you kind of back the fathers' rights movements in the state of Illinois, where you have gone through difficulties with your son. And we won't go too far into that because I'm not trying to get personal. But at the same time, personal is what the public wants and needs. So with that being said, where do you stand on how Illinois is right now with fathers' rights? And is it fair? Is it reasonable? And in a nutshell, what could be done differently?
Well, I think it's very slanted towards the woman. I mean, as somebody that's never done anything wrong in that aspect, I just feel like it could be more 50-50, if you would. Like, in my circumstance, it was just automatically given to her. She got more time, and I felt like I had zero say in anything that happened as far as the court went. And I'm kind of just being drug along to the whole thing.
Right. And, you know, that's one thing on my platform, as you well know, is the Title IV amendment and what needs to be done with that and the whole 50-50 clause. So we'll jump from that. We're going to kind of jump around on different topics, kind of see where you fall and when we talk about different things. So you're a correction officer. I know there's a lot of problems, but if you could pinpoint the top 4, what would they be?
Sure. The administration at the top. Nobody. Well, I don't want to say nobody. There's some good people that are in administration, but the ones,
Right.
the real shot callers, they just have never worked on the front lines, and they're calling the shots. I feel like they have no idea what's going on inside the day-to-day job that I do and that many other state workers do. They just don't see the problems that arise from their decisions, basically.
Right. And what are some of those problems?
Well, they want to implement certain things, and without asking the people that deal with inmates every day, they don't ask them. So they have no idea what would work, what will work, what won't. They just don't ask our opinion at all, and they just move on.
So they just, they basically do what they want to do, regardless of the impact on the inmates and the workers.
Yeah, especially safety. Like, I don't think they really care about staff safety at all.
Wow,
that's the
really
biggest
sad.
problem. That's the biggest problem from the inside, is they do stuff and they don't think, how safe is this for our employees?
Right. And safety is a big issue where you're at, because y'all can get hurt really bad. And, we've watched the horror stories on TV where inmates break out and they attack the guards, and then it's an issue. And, there has to be things in place for everybody's safety, and, that whether the guards or the inmates as well.
Yeah.
So where do you think Pritzker stands on this? I mean, we know he's not doing his job, but what could be done better by someone as yourself for governor?
Well, he could start by appointing people that have some idea of what goes on a daily basis, and just really go from there.
Right. And I don't think he's really toured any correctional facilities.
No.
So he doesn't know what goes on, what needs to be done. And when we talk about working class citizens such as yourself that want to provide a better structure for the inmates and for the officers there, that's important. So we need a governor who understands, like you said, the safety issues and protocols and rules and regulations. And I personally think the workers need to have a say in how things are operated on a day-to-day basis, because you guys are on the front line. You guys are dealing with this every day, day in and day out.
Yeah, we're always the last one to know what's going on, and that's never good.
Right. Well, yeah, that's very dangerous. So with that being said, what are some of your other, I guess, highlighted points that you want to work on as governor?
In corrections or everything?
Everything. Just give me like the top 4.
Top 4? Well, these mandates are ridiculous. As you know, I'm about to lose my job because I'm refusing to take the vaccine.
Right.
Taxes are incredibly outrageous. Way too many, way too high. I want to get rid of absolutely as many as I can. That as being a nobody, a small person, if you will, I don't have a ton of extra money simply from high taxes.
Right.
The streets, like in Chicago, there's no reason that they should be that out of control, in my opinion. We need more police presence. That alone will stop some of it. That's the one thing that they taught us day one when I went to the academy, is that police presence cuts down like 80% of the crime that goes on. That was just inside prisons, but even on the streets, the same thing will work.
Right, absolutely.
I think the Second Amendment is huge. Not just all of the amendments, but the Second Amendment in this state is a big one for me too. I don't really like the Floyd card. Not a fan of it, but it's what we have to deal with right now.
Right. So, what do you think that you have that your opponents don't have?
Well,
If you could define Chase Thrasher versus everybody else, Bailey, Rabine, Solomon, Roper, everybody, Mancow, whoever, what sets you apart from everybody else?
well, I am not rich, basically. I feel like everybody I'm running against has unlimited pockets, and I don't. So I feel like I can relate more to people is their everyday life, the struggles that everybody goes through.
Right. And when you deal with opponents that have deep pockets or that have a surplus of income coming in, I mean, I know we know it's going to take money to pull Pritzker out. It's going to take money on my race to pull Duckworth out,
Yep.
but we can get there after primary.
Yep.
There's still time and room, especially if you're the Republican Party pick. So, and I think a lot of the voters don't understand that. They don't understand we don't have to have it to start, but we got to have it to finish.
Right.
And so one of the things that I want to talk about is bringing your race out, bringing my race out. So we're going to team up.
Yeah.
And we're going to go on the road all over Illinois, since Chase's job has conveniently said they're going to let him go because he won't take the mandate vaccine.
Right.
So, and I think that's what it's about. I think it's about good Republicans, patriots, everyday citizens, where we know at the gas station, oh, wait, I can only put $20 in my car because I have to buy dinner tonight. Yeah. Honestly, I don't think the other candidates know about that. They don't have to relate to that. They never have to worry about that. No. And although I'm sure they've got great points, and a lot of people are pulling for people like Bailey, and a lot of people are, and he's great in a lot of ways. But at the same time, a lot of people don't believe that they're as relatable as they need to be, I guess is the nicest way to say it.
Right.
And that's important, because I think the people of Illinois are really tired of not being heard. They're not being related to. They're not being understood.
Yep.
So it's going to take. Yep. Yeah. And so it's going to take that to get through and push through this muck of an election. Yeah. So it's a big job. Somebody's got to do it, but we have to push through. So, like I said, I've offered to team up with you and help, structure our campaigns together, because we believe in a lot of the same things. Yeah. And one of the things I think both of us, you being a middle-class worker, agrees with is the Worker Rights Amendment. And that's important. And I know I kind of threw that at you, and I didn't say I was going to do it in advance, so I'm not going to put you down that rabbit hole. But I will say that the Worker Rights Amendment is simply about the middle class surviving. It's simply pro-family, pro-middle class. The right to work with fair wages to support your family. And I think everybody can get behind that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what we're going to do is we're at the 15-minute mark. So we've got about 10, 15 minutes of wrap up. So we've got some comments here. And I want to kind of let you address the public. This is now your time to get on here with Chase. Ask him questions. Ask him anything you want. But you got to be respectful. You got to be nice. Give him a chance to answer. I do that with all my guests. So it's important that we get the right answers that you need out of Chase and what you want changed or done. So we'll give everybody a minute to pop up some questions. I will say we'll show this. Elizabeth Taylor said, we need leaders who understand and can relate to the working class citizens. Yes.
Well, I'd say that's me.
So yeah, that's Chase, guys. So, it's about being as real as you can and understanding the problems in Illinois. And when we have problems like in Chase's realm of field with running for governor, he has to think about balancing an actual budget. He has to think about the taxes and the mandates. And, I think almost every governor running wants the mandates to end, which that's a good, solid front.
At least on the Republican side, yeah.
Do what?
At least on the Republican side, yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah, the Democrats don't care. Which is sad because, it's affecting suicides. It's affecting families. It's affecting people in their education, our kids in our education.
Yeah.
They have gotten to a point to where they are forcing our children to learn things that we don't think is appropriate age-wise. And I know that my voters as well, and I'm sure yours is too, really focus on the parent's choice for education.
Absolutely.
And every parent deserves to know what their child is learning and be okay with what they're learning. And I understand there's curriculum and everything else that goes along with that, but I personally don't believe that our 5-year-olds need to learn about sex ed.
No.
I don't even think they can process that.
No.
So
that should definitely be a high school or later thing.
Right. Or later junior high,
Yeah.
So I think there's a little bit of an echo. I really believe that there's a lot of issues that come with governor race and even U.S. Senate race. There's something that I am dealing with right now that is one of my top priorities. And I know you and I have talked about this, is the Title IV. And that's a no-no in the Republican mouth. And I'll get to questions in a minute, guys. Hold on one second. Title IV, when it comes to families and custody battles, GALs, which is guardian ad litems, and things like that, we got a big problem in Illinois, guys. There are a lot of things that the government is throwing at us in hopings that we will ignore what's going on underneath the dirt. So that's something, Chase is more than willing to work with me on. If I win my Senate seat, he wins governor, we can work hand in hand and bring a 50-50 mutual agreement to the table for families. Mm-hmm. Of course, unlike, unless it's proven, right, not allegations.
Right.
You can't just say, oh, well, he did, prove it.
Yeah.
Here's how I think. It took a man and a woman to lay down in a bed and make a child. At one point in time, they loved each other, they respected each other, and they thought they were going to spend the rest of their lives together. Correct?
Yep.
And somewhere down the mix, they no longer are together. They no longer agree. They're always fighting, whatever. And then they go to court. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen, in the state of Illinois, your dog has more rights than your child. That is a fact. If a mom and a dad walk into court, they have a dog there and it's automatically 50-50 custody. If you have a child there, it goes to the mother.
Yep.
Now, I'm not knocking moms, guys. I'm not. I'm a mom. But I believe in equality. I believe that it takes two parents to raise a child, as long as they're both stable and able to do so. Now, Chase is a prime example of that.
Yeah. A kid needs both parents. They don't need one more than the other. They need both equally. That's the problem I'm running into, is my first day walking into court, it just automatically leaned towards her. And I'm a great parent, so why should I not have an equal amount of time? But there's just something that needs to be fixed.
Absolutely. And it's saddening to some degree, well, to a big degree, that this state is just, it's not only about putting a child with one parent or the other. There's a whole underlining financial thing that you guys don't even half of the population here in Illinois, when I say Title IV, they're like, what's that? Well, and we can get into the logistics all we want, but at the same time, we have to understand what's really going on. Guys, everybody knows about everybody's Social Security. Chase, you understand that, right? You know, you have Social Security when you get older. Well, Obama came on when he was president and said, oh, well, don't be surprised if Social Security is wiped away. Well, do you want to know why that is? It's because they're taking money out of people's Social Security to fund their expenditures, that they're like the Clinton Foundation, the different thing. And that's a whole nother ballgame. But at the same time, it affects real American working families that have children. And that's a topic that is not going to go away. It's not going to get any better until people like me and Chase and I, who are willing to run for offices, high offices, to make real changes for the people.
Yep. I mean, I'm paying into something I'm probably never going to get to use. Why?
Exactly. And, you know, Chase is, he's the epitome of what's going on. It's happened to him on both ends, his child and his job. Yep. So it's like he's getting hit on both sides. Yeah. And instead of sitting there feeling sorry for himself, what's Chase Thrasher doing? Running for governor. So not only does he not like it happening to him and his son, he doesn't want it happening to your children. And I've managed to make a lot of friends throughout this campaign, and I've opened up many, many doors. I'm so excited about so many things. And I see she just jumped on. So, and I can tell her handwriting. So I know, not handwriting, but the way she types. So Tabitha Carson's on, she's watching. And we won't get into what we talked about yet, because I haven't talked to her yet. But, you know, she represents the children in Chicago, the moms and the children, mostly the children in Chicago. She is a huge advocate for children. And Chicago is one of Illinois' biggest problems, as Chase mentioned before. You know, the crime, it's ridiculous how much Chicago, how much play they have, and how much violence they have, and how much, and the mandates. I think Lori Lightfoot, I don't know if it went away or not, but there was a time when, not too long ago, that she said, vaccine cards or you don't get in anywhere. And that's all over Chicago. There's people posting on Facebook, hey, you can go to this restaurant, they're not V-carding, or nope, this one is, or like, what are we doing? What are we doing to our citizens of Illinois? What are we doing to our children?
An invasion on privacy.
Yeah, and we need someone who's honest and completely, you know, supports our children and our kids and our grandkids. We have to make a safer Illinois for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I took a little bit of your question time. I'm sorry, but so somebody had mentioned, I want to kind of get your view on this, is bring back programs to support disabled children, parents, and families. How would you do that as governor, Chase?
Well, I'm not really familiar with the. Go ahead.
Well, would you support bringing back programs that were funded correctly to support disabled children and parents and families?
Absolutely.
Okay, hold on. I got to find, let's see. Sorry. There we go. I was looking for it. The questions are just flying up here. So this person said, we need someone who's completely honest and concerned about the children. That's actually Tabitha.
Well, that's me. I mean, I've got a kid. I want to make a better future for him. So that's a goal of mine. So he doesn't grow up in a sunken state like I had to.
So let's talk about this for a minute. Displaced over 400 families in a pediatric nursing home program. Wow. That's alarming.
Yeah.
How do you displace 400 families? I mean, I know that's their objective, but I don't know that there's so many things that the Democrats have done to displace our entire state. It's not just the families, it's the entire state, guys. Okay, so we're going to focus on this. People are blowing up with comments, and I understand. I'm grateful for that. But if anybody has any questions for Chase, we've got about 4 minutes left. So if anyone wants to pop up a question, in the meantime, we're going to talk about. Oh, here we go. Okay. What do you think about this, Chase?
Stop funding to pay the nurses. Did not stop? I don't understand.
Let's see. Let me. Okay, Cindy, you said stop funding to pay the nurses. We need a little bit more explanation for that, or in the form of questions. I'm not sure how to read that, so we'll get back to that one. Okay, so in the meantime, one more question I wanted to ask you is, when it comes to balancing the budget, obviously that's more of a task than anyone realizes, because it's very hard to balance a budget when we've gone through how many governors that have been to prison, and it's been a mess even before Pritzker. Pritzker just kind of brought everything to light. So I don't want to ask you how you would balance the budget, because that's a really broad question. But what are some of the things that you think could improve to be able to balance the budget as a governor?
Unnecessary spending. Don't spend more than what we have. I mean, it's pretty simple if you break it down in those terms.
Absolutely. Well, guys, if there are no questions, we are running out of time, actually. And if there are no other questions, this will be up. It stays up on all 4 of my pages. So, okay, we have an explanation. Hold on. We're going to go back to this. So so Cindy said, we'll throw this up here for you. So that's how the pediatric nursing program for the state got dismantled. Nurses lost funding through Medicaid to help those families. Okay, so she's saying that this shouldn't have happened.
Right. Well,
so if you want to read that and then respond.
Well, we'd have to look into why it got stopped. I don't understand why they would stop it. It'd be something I have to look into, figure out why it got stopped, and try to get it started again if that's what they were trying to do.
Okay, you got a question. Thoughts on child support collection reform? Right up your alley.
Yeah, I don't like paying child support, to be honest. I mean, my particular situation, I don't like that Illinois is a no-fault state. I wasn't the one that wanted out of my situation, and then things happen, and then I'm the one rewarding her for what she did. So I don't like it. Collection reform would be something I have to look into, I guess.
But to be clear, you don't have a problem supporting your son.
No.
It was the way that it was handled. So it's not like you're against fathers paying, or parents in general. We're not just going to label fathers, but because moms are out there paying child support too. So it's not that you're against it. It's just your situation. It should have been handled differently.
Yeah. I volunteered to pay for anything and everything he needed while he was in school, extracurricular activities, as long as she didn't touch, going in a little detail, as long as she didn't touch my retirement. That's all I wanted.
Right.
For her not to touch what I earned when I was working. But she went the route of the judge telling her, or telling us, what I have to pay. So then she has no accountability for where the money goes.
Right. And that's not right either. Everything has to be accounted for. Accountability is very important. So, Cindy, when we talk about thoughts on child support collection reform, here's a breakdown of how it could be, and we've gone over, but that's okay. So basically, Title IV, when that is defunded and squashed, there will be a system set up in play, especially if I have something to do with it. And I know Chase would agree, is we need it fair across the board. And again, correct me if I'm wrong if you don't agree, but if it's 50-50, then I don't think any child support should be ordered, because if the mom has 50%, the dad has 50%, then they're both equally responsible for each half.
Yeah.
And then there's no courts involved. There's no extra fees, because all of those extra fees and court costs don't even go towards where it's supposed to go. It goes to line people's pockets. It has been for years. And it's just a topic that doesn't get talked about a lot, because a lot of people don't want the heat that it brings. And it does bring a lot of heat. It does bring a lot of concern of where is this money going? Why is the Title IV, why is it $1 billion industries for our government? Why is the Clinton Foundation funded because of this? And it's being taken out of your Social Security. So all of that with the child support collection reform will change and be better directed towards the people and for the people.
No, I want to point out something. Every situation is different. Like the guy may work and the woman may not work. There's certain situations where 50-50, there still should be some child support paid. I'm fine with that. But if both people are working and it's 50-50, I don't understand. Unless it's a huge gap in the pay, that's a little different. But every state, I think every case is different. Just
absolutely. And it should be a case by case basis.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's your next question. Now they're rolling in.
Well, I mean, I think they should pay. I understand that it's like a case by case basis again. Some guys are just totally not in the picture. Some guys don't even pay their child support when they're supposed to. But I mean, they should. If they're going to do what they did to get that child here, they should take care of them.
Absolutely. And guys, don't misunderstand, especially from my point of view or Chase's, is we're not saying that people don't need to be held accountable. We're not talking about the deadbeat parents in general that don't want to be parents, that don't show up, that don't support, oh, well, no big deal. She got him, so who cares? Or he got him, so who cares? We're not talking about those parents. We're talking about the parents that are left to the dust constantly every single day, that care about their children. They just want to be a part of their lives. There's parents that I know one guy, he's 20 something years. And now his daughter doesn't want to talk to him because she's been fed all these lies all these years. And his son's coming up in the rears, and he's going to have the same problem because he wasn't allowed to be in the picture. Those are the parents I'm talking about. Yeah. The ones that want to be a mom or dad. And I'm not alienating women. It's parental alienation in general. So that's a huge topic, and we need to talk about this, guys. So with that, if there's not any other questions, we're going to wrap this up. And I will be back next week on Citizen Watch, where your voice matters. We've actually got a round table. So I'm super excited about that. I'm hoping to get Miss Tabitha Carson on here. And hopefully Chase will join us back if he wants to. We're going to have some conversations with some real voters and some legislatures. So that's going to be exciting. So we're going to get, I think there's 2 Democrats that are coming on, 3 Republicans, you being one of them, hopefully, and a couple voters. So we're going to get kind of the double-edged sword, bring it to light, and solve some issues. I want to thank everybody for attending tonight. I'm blessed that everybody jumped on, and I wish everybody a good night and stay safe out there. And remember, your voice matters.